thinks he's a simple man. Bill O'Reilly, a huge breakout hit, is the latest in his Killing series, just out last week. We debuted it here on this program, Killing Crazy Horse. Mr. O'Reilly, congratulations. I saw the numbers, especially for a book like this, a history book. These sales were massive. You've had 15 number one bestsellers. Now you have 16. Congratulations.
It's all because of you, Hannity.
That's what I said. It was my non-cupcake interview.
Yeah, you read you read the commercials for Killing Crazy Horse, and everybody
I did.
said, well, Hannity liked it, so I'm going to get it. You know what? The amazing thing about the extraordinary sales of Killing Crazy Horse is that Trump's not in it. You know, I tried to get him in it. I tried to blame him for some of the Native American conflicts, but it was too long ago. I couldn't find a way in. So
I'm shocked, Bill, because, whatever, any tawdry, gossip, any anti-Trump screed seems to, it has an audience. It's a niche audience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whatever conspiracy theory it is, they will advance it. All things Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. The media and the publishing world are going to hate it if Donald Trump doesn't win in 48 days.
Absolutely. So is the network TV news. I don't have anything to talk about. But I have a call into Bob Woodward. I'm gonna talk to him about how I can write a sequel to Killing Crazy Horse and get Trump in there somehow.
Maybe he's got some tapes of conversations.
Yeah. The Simple Man theme I love, by the way, and I like the song. But let me give you a real Simple Man analysis of the charge, because it's sticking somewhat, that Donald Trump misled the nation about COVID, and that's why the United States has so many cases. So I'm researching India, the second most populated country in the world. They have a prime minister named Modi, M-O-D-I. Now, India is not like the United States. It's very poor, and their mass communication system is not anything like ours is. But Modi was pretty upfront with the Indian population, saying, look, this is pretty bad, and everybody's got to wear a mask. And the Indian population pretty much does what they're told. They're not a defiant population like the USA. So now we have this unbelievable resurgence of COVID in India. So did Modi lie to the people? Did he mislead? And the same thing with Macron in France. I mean, this is so bogus. So I'd love to interview Bob Woodward myself. He wouldn't do it. And I said, well, you're drawing conclusions from a charge that Donald Trump, by his own words, underplayed the virus. Well, he did it, and you know this, because he didn't want to tank the markets. Now, the president did make a mistake last night, and I want to ask you about this, when he says, well, I didn't really underplay it. I overplayed it. He said that in the town hall. I thought that was a mistake because he sends a confusing message now. I know why he, in the beginning, took an optimistic view, and I think I would have done that had I been president. I don't want to tank the economy.
Leaders don't do that, Bill. Look, can I give you your answer to your question?
Yep, absolutely.
Because what the president is really saying, and maybe he's not communicating it effectively. I'll concede the point to you, and that is overplaying it. Meaning he put the travel ban in effect 10 days after the first identified case of corona. Bill, that one decision that Joe called hysterical xenophobia and fear mongering saved literally hundreds of thousands of Americans from contracting the virus. It bought us valuable time. How many tens of thousands more Americans would have died? He put the first quarantine in effect in over 50 years. So his actions were overplaying it because nobody thought he should go that far. Nobody. And he did it. He did it anyway. Now, he was saying he was instilling confidence, meaning he didn't want to scare the crap out of people.
Right.
I think he could have. I think he could say it better, but that's what he's saying.
Last night, exactly what you said now. He said my actions showed that I didn't underplay the threat of the virus, but he didn't say it strong enough. So people are confused now. And you saw it today with the Trump-hating press. Well, you heard him with Woodward. He said he underplayed it on purpose, and now he said he overplayed it by it, but they didn't say by his actions. Now, I understand it, you understand it, because we're professionals and we analyze this kind of stuff. But the electorate does not understand it. And that's the message I'd like to get to President Trump, because I know he listens to your show and you talk with him. You've got to be precise in your language.
In this environment, Bill, I agree with you to a point. He could be more clear on that point. But it is very clear his actions show he was taking it more seriously than anybody else at the time.
That's true.
Now,
but
with that said,
voter won't pick that up. See, look,
Bill, I'm going to tell you something.
People, what?
I am telling you that if he cured cancer, they would impeach him over it. That's how sick they've gotten.
Well, listen, yesterday, CNN, in the middle of the White House ceremony, telling the world what an extraordinary achievement it is that Arab nations are now forging alliance with Israel. What did CNN do? Oh, they don't have masks on. They're not wearing their masks. Look at that. It was absurd. It's like... By the way,
Jared Kushner pounded Wolfie Blitzer the other day because he said, well, I watched your coverage during the, quote, peaceful protests that weren't exactly peaceful as you were characterizing them. I mean, the infamous photo now is hilarious. It's mostly peaceful, a reporter from fake news CNN. And right behind him, it looks like the whole entire freaking city is up in flames. I mean, you can't make this crap up.
Well, CNN has ruined itself forever. Nobody's ever going to trust that network again. Even the people who sympathize with their liberal point of view aren't going to trust them because they know they're in the bag. But look, you and I both know what the key day is for the election of 2020, and that is September 29th in Cleveland, Ohio. And I am suggesting respectfully to President Trump that between now and then he practice being precise in his language during that debate, because you and I both know Joe Biden is incapable of being precise in language, because with all due respect, and I mean that seriously, Mr. Biden does not know what he is saying.
He's weak. He is frail. And Bill, I'm saying this charitably. And frankly, it's painful to watch. I mean, yesterday it was painful to watch him when he came out, playing the song on his iPhone. It was beyond bizarre. Every day it gets more bizarre. He's in cognitive decline, Bill. I don't know the exact term or diagnosis, but he's not. If he ever had a fastball, he doesn't have a fastball anymore, Bill.
Let me give you the scientific term, the exact term, so that you have it, okay? Are you ready for the term?
I'm ready.
He's befuddled. That's the term. Okay?
Is that the word of the day?
Yeah, that's the word of the day. He's befuddled. That's it.
I'm sitting there with my finger on the dump button. I'm like, all right, what's O'Reilly going to... What trouble is he going to get me in today?
You're like Facebook. You want to censor me, Hannity.
You know what? Because you don't censor yourself, which is the problem.
Yeah,
I mean, for a simple guy, you would think that, God only knows what's coming flying out of that mouth of yours any minute.
I just gave you a simple word, befuddlement.
Yeah, befuddled. Okay, but you know what? It's the other words that I thought you might say that concerned me.
Well, thanks for looking out for me. But my point is correct. The more precise Donald Trump can be.
Listen, listen, it's very easy for us to sit here on the sidelines. I actually thought, now, by the way, they only got 3.8 million viewers on ABC last night.
I know.
By the way, it hurts my show when he's on, another network, because obviously my audience are, full of Trump supporters, or a significant portion of them. And I'm fine with that. I think it's good for the president to do it. I don't think Joe could handle it. I don't think Joe Biden, even with a media-friendly, with all his media alliance.
Listen to this. That's how crazy this is. So ABC offers Biden a time. So we'll give you 90 minutes to have a town hall. And what did the Biden campaign say to little Georgie Stephanopoulos?
No.
We can't fit you into the schedule. What?
Yeah.
What schedule?
Yeah. What schedule? He's in the basement.
What
He's in the bunker.
You taking a shower? What are you doing? What do you mean the schedule? You going out and watering the flowers? I mean, look, just step back. You are given 90 minutes of softball time on ABC, and you can't find it in your schedule to do it? Come on!
Because Bill, you saw the video. I'll play the audio version. I mean, literally, a young woman asks a very simple question, and any candidate should be able to just off the cuff give a very simple answer, especially if you want to be president. I said yesterday, I wouldn't hire this guy to run a busy McDonald's because I don't think he's up to the job. Listen to what he says. Move up, please. He needs a teleprompter for the answer. Listen.
And I would like to know, what will your administration do to help them give them that chance? Thank you.
Move it up here. You know, there used to be a basic bargain in this country. Workers shared in the wealth their work
stop right there.
Create.
The two things I observed, Bill. One is move it up here. Move it up here. You know, my kids would come in my studio at times when they were growing up. Daddy, why are you yelling into the microphone? I'm like, well, I could say, hi, I'm Sean Hannity. Welcome to the show. 1-800-941-SEAN is a toll-free telephone number. I said, I don't know why, but the first time the light went on, Bill, hello, how are you? Glad you are with us. I don't know where it came from, Bill. I have no idea, but it came out naturally. Because know you have to be more animated to get anybody's attention on radio.
Listen, all the people listening to us on your 600-plus affiliated stations understand the difference between President Trump and Joe Biden. They would not be listening to the radio program if they didn't understand. They have it. But the people who are slow learners, who are uninformed, they are going to make the difference. And that's why I'm saying this debate on the 29th of September is going to be the most widely watched debate in the history of debates all over the world. The more precise Donald Trump can be. All right,
stay right there. Bill O'Reilly, stay right there. I'm even going to play. I'm going to hold you over for a couple of minutes into the next segment. You've earned. I want to play the difference between how the mob and the media went nuts over the Iranian nuclear deal versus how they downplayed the peace agreements yesterday. All right, as we continue, Bill O'Reilly stays with us, debuting another number one bestseller, Killing Crazy Horse. Congratulations again, Bill O'Reilly, Simple Man. The question is this. Maybe the event that'll define this election hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will be the debates. There's three of them. The first one is 2 weeks from yesterday, so 13 days. And I agree the president needs to be clear, but I would also say, look, I would assume, and I'm being charitable again, that Joe Biden's going to be drinking a lot of caffeine that day. So I would assume he's going to be somewhat competent. But I think Joe has a hard time staying focused on answering a question. Now, I have a little bit of that problem myself sometimes, but his is particularly acute. And I think the president asking him questions without being rude. How do you do it? How do you thread that needle?
It's not hard because Chris Wallace is the moderator, and you can expect him to open with a tough one on Trump, maybe use a little tape in a contradictory manner, what Wallace is going to do, in my opinion. So, look, you said this about COVID, but then you said this. What's the deal? Why are you contradictory? That's probably how he'll open to President Trump. Then for Biden, who will go second, he'll open with a like question. It'll be tough because, again, we discussed this last week. Chris Wallace has to live up to the legacy of his father. And so he's not going to be a cupcake with either of them. But then neither candidate, in my opinion, will answer any of Chris Wallace's questions. They'll just wander off to where they want to go because the debate structure is you have a minute 20 to answer and then 30 seconds to answer a follow-up. Wallace can't jump in like I do and you do and say, hey, Pinhead, you're not answering a question. He can't do that. And
Trump can't.
No, they can just wander. So if I'm Trump, you're absolutely right. I turn to Biden on a number of times in that 90-minute forum, and I say, hey, Joe, this is really bothering me. And what is Wallace going to do? He can't do anything. He can't throw anything at the guy. So Trump can control the debate, just like he said, Jeb Bush is boring. All right, Ted Cruz is lying, Ted. Remember that? He destroyed his competition on the debate
stay right there.
stage.
Bill O'Reilly, allthingsbilloreilly.com. I'm going to play him some tape of media bias. When we get back, we'll get his take on it. Crazy Horse, Killing Crazy Horse, Amazon.com, Hannity.com, bookstores everywhere. Quick break, right back. Final question for Bill on the other side. All right, 25 to the top of the hour. Simple man, Leonard Skinnard means one thing. That means all things. Bill O'Reilly is now debuting number one bestseller, Killing Crazy Horse. Congratulations again. All right, so I want to play two things. Now, this is 3 minutes worth of tape I'm playing, Bill. It's an eternity. You can probably barely have the patience to focus that long yourself, but we're going to need you to focus in here.
All right.
It's first the media mob downplaying these historic peace agreements, which, by the way, I'm arguing, Bill, was made possible courtesy of Joe and Barack and that ridiculous deal with the Iranians where they gave $150 billion to mullahs that chant death to Israel, death to America. And they got nothing in that deal. They didn't get any place, anytime inspections. They didn't even get a long commitment not to build nuclear weapons. They didn't even get American inspectors included in the deal. They got nothing. The Iranians took them for all that money. It was the worst deal in history, but it did create an unprecedented alliance that has emerged, which is the U.S., Israel, the Jordanians, the Egyptians, the Saudis, the Emirates, now Bahrain. And that is that they're all standing united against Iranian hegemony. And I do believe that we're going to see more historic deals, assuming Donald Trump's still the president. So anyway, we'll play the media downplaying yesterday's agreements, and then we'll compare how they went nuts over the Iranian deal that was the worst deal in history. Listen.
Of course, on a week where we've seen the president really throw caution to the wind when it comes to these COVID-19 precautions, John, we are seeing it amplified here once again on the South Lawn of the White House.
The campaign already putting ads up on Facebook that describe this as the achievement of a peace deal. Of course, there was no actual conflict, no war between these countries.
It is a big agreement. It cannot avert the fact that there's another major headline here, and that is a coronavirus lockdown with record-breaking numbers. That is a headline Netanyahu wants to get away from.
You know, Peter, this deal is a bit uncomfortable for a lot of observers to watch because it seems so transactional. It's as if pulling out of the Iran deal is what got these Gulf states on board to do this, to then recognize it. It feels like there is a lot of quid pro quos involved in this, that it isn't something larger than that. Then again, sometimes Middle East diplomacy, the only way to make things move is through the transactional nature of the region.
The U.S. and world powers reaching a major agreement with Iran, blocking one of our biggest rivals from developing a nuclear weapon.
We are following the breaking news here of this historic understanding with Iran.
It is definitely an historic moment.
It is a historic agreement, frankly.
A historic understanding and, quote, good deal, but there is, of course, still much work to be done.
A lot of what happened today does not happen every day. This was a historic deal on a historic day.
Indeed, an historic day.
You bet. We've got more news on today's historic deal with Iran. Historic potential deal. We'll have more on this historic day. Historic news out of Switzerland.
Ahead, the Republican reaction to the historic nuclear agreement.
Now, while today's agreement is historic, probably the biggest breakthrough. I'm going to stop there.
Bill O'Reilly, I can't even take it anymore. But there you have it. Does it get any more clear?
I have a question for you. Do you think the media thought the Iranian deal was historic?
Yeah, Bill. State-run TV, the Humpty Dumpty Mr. Potato Head Network leads the way. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, everybody knows, and everybody knows that the media is, in general, dishonest, corrupt, wants to impose left-wing culture on the nation, doesn't feel that we are a noble country, doesn't want our traditions to be upheld. And that's really what we're voting for, Hannity, in November. I don't think it's about Trump versus Biden. I think it's about, do you like America? Do you respect its traditions of freeing billions of people all over the world and giving opportunity to more people than any other nation that's ever existed? Do you want to continue that? Or do you want Bernie Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez to be telling Joe Biden what he should do? That's it when you go to the polls November 3rd.
Bill O'Reilly, allthingsbillO'Reilly.com, Killing Crazy Horse, huge debut, Amazon.com, Hannity.com, bookstores everywhere. Thank you, sir. Simple man, Bill O'Reilly. Not simple, Bill. Next week he'll explain how Talking Points, once again, talks to Talking Points, because I didn't understand the last explanation. We're just kidding. All right, Bill O'Reilly, thank you.